Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another Morning Coffee Talks. Before we dive into the topic today, I want to say shout out to one of my subscribers who actually I just met yesterday. I was in the gym, and really quick, the world is very small, very, very small, man. And like I said, shout out to this subscriber. His name is Mark. Come to find out, we go to the same gym. And he walked up and introduced himself. He wasn't sure if I was the person he saw on the screen, but I am. I am a real person. I'm not AI, right? So shout out to him. He introduced himself, kind of told me his story or whatnot. We talked about 5 minutes. It was pretty cool. Pretty good dude, man. Um, he has a channel he's trying to put together. I can't wait to subscribe and see his content once he piece everything together. So, but if you guys ever see me in the streets or somewhere in public, walk up, say hey, pretty cool, pretty chill. So yeah, introduce yourself. Let's chop it up for a second and keep it pushing. So I appreciate him, Mark, for coming up to me, introduce himself, and having a quick conversation. So that was nice. So with that being said, on to the topic. And one thing that I've learned in this life is, and it's crazy because I think for anybody who's successful, right, or who on a journey, when you're going towards your goals, whatever it may be, right, personal development, career path, fitness, spiritual, whatever your goals are, right, when you get closer to it, when you get on the other side of, getting to your goals, you start to understand that belief comes before the behavior, right? And one thing that I found out again is before you start acting like a winner, a leader, or even a good husband, which is the behavior, right? You have to believe that you want, right? And I know it's easy said than done. It's very hard to shift that mentality when you don't see yourself in that image, right? But I feel like a lot of men, and I was even in this position, you're waiting to feel confident before taking action. But I think that's backwards. Your belief is the seed. Your behavior is the fruit, right? So belief is the thing that's going to drive identity. And it's almost again like it's funny, man. Me and my father-in-law, it's just interesting when we get to talking. Everything's connected, man. And I say belief is basically faith, right? Your internal belief system sets your limitations, or it can remove them as well. You'll never act consistently in a way that contradicts what you truly believe in, right? If you see yourself as average, you'll behave that way, even if you have big goals. Let me say that again. If you see yourself as an average person in your mind, and again, I'm not saying that everyone has to be a superhero, right? Everyone has to be this super rich person. I'm not saying that. But you can feel like you're the smartest person in the world, right? That's not an average way of thinking, right? You can see yourself as, hey, I'm the best, man in my community. I'm the best man around my friends, right? Because you put the work in, because your mind state is different, But if you see yourself, and maybe I need to switch the word average, but if you see yourself at a certain level, in your life, you're gonna behave that way, even if you have bigger aspirations, bigger goals, right? So whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. That was a quote from Henry Ford, I think. Yeah, whether you think you can or you can't, either way, you're gonna be right. So you have to shift your identity, and everything changes internally before it's visible, right? You won't just wake up disciplined. You have to believe that you're capable of becoming a disciplined man. Everything starts in the mind, man. So when you believe that you're a kind of man who leads, who shows up, and who finishes, your habits is gonna follow, right? Again, I've always talked about the language of successful people, and again, it's almost like this. It's almost like it's a veil on top of this success thing, right? A lot of us, we forget that every day we just wake up and go to work, come home. We wake up, go to work, come home. We forget that we in this cycle, and that's not normal, right? It's normal in the sense of that's the way the system's set up, but it's not normal in how we should move every day. And there's nothing wrong with working, right? But for the husbands out there, for the people out there who want to level up in life, we have to always become conscious of our habits and the cycles and the day-to-day systems that we run through. We can't forget that it's just a system that we in, right? And this is one conversation that I've had with my wife. My mind state, listen, let me say this. I'm a very, very humble person. I am very empathetic, but at the same time, I understand that we're all human, right? And it shouldn't be this way, but it is. Meaning, at the end of the day, it's you versus me. In the sense of when it's food, if it come down to me versus you needing food to feed our family, you're gonna knock me off. I totally understand that. Without structure and order in our society, it'd be rampage. It'd be rampage. You know what I mean? And so you have to always understand. Here's another thing. Let me say this, right? Another example to make sure it's clear and I hit my point. As a man, if you come across any other man in life, in your gut, in your spirit, you know it's always a threat. It's always a threat in the sense of it could be the littlest thing that turned into something big and somebody could die. Between men, right? We know that disrespect could turn to death. We know this. That threat is always prevalent, right? We mask it through respect. We mask it through holding the door for each other, right? We mask it through if you bump somebody, you say, "Hey, I apologize," and right, because even that on mistake, that mistake of bumping somebody, like right, ill intent, not again, we may be going through the day, not watching our steps or whatever, right? Which we should always be on our swear, but things happen. That could turn to a small argument and light a fire where it could become fisticuffs, right? We throwing down and now somebody's not going home to see their family. We understand that as men, right? So I don't want to get too far off topic, but I wanted to say that to say you have to understand that this is real life, and internally you have to start believing before it becomes visible. All right, you have to understand that it's real life out here, and so you'll start to act accordingly. All right, so I know I went a little far off, but I wanted to kind of tie it into a lot of things. Lastly, stop waiting for the job title. Stop waiting for the validation or the opportunity to believe in yourself, right? You have to start acting as if you're already the man you're becoming, right? And you have to start small, man. And it's because it's a daily habit that you're building, that you're getting stronger. It's like a muscle that you want to build a muscle, right? You have to hit that muscle every time you work out, right? A couple times a week, because it's like you're just building it. So if you want to speak better, dress sharper, you know, you have to do those things every day. You know, you have to keep your hair cut. You have to make sure your hygiene is on point. You have to plan ahead, and ultimately you have to follow through. Your beliefs will get stronger every time, which in turn will produce the actions. All right. Listen, for the men out there, stop waiting to feel ready. Right? Start believing that you are ready. Stop waiting to feel ready. Start believing that you are ready. And your action will start to match that energy, right? Your wife will see it, your kids will see it. But most importantly, you'll start respecting the man in the mirror. Remember this: belief comes first, behavior follows. So I hope that made sense. Drop a comment below. Subscribe to the Husband Code if it's your first time. If you've been watching for a while, subscribe. Also, if you got any value from this video, hit that like button and then hit that notification bell, because we're going to continuously drop videos like this all the time. So until next time, I appreciate you guys. Much love. Peace.